Do you remember the reaction when that was released back in '88? As far as the consumers, the radio. Do you remember that reaction back then?
Um, I remember when it first played on the radio. Red Alert played it. I think he featured my stuff and the Jungle Brothers at the same time. So yeah, it was dope to hear my song on the radio. As far as it being pushed again, his name was Isaac. His name was Isaac. Isaac Wright, you asshole. If you out there and you listening to this, you're a fucking asshole. Isaac Wright, he was the one who I was signed to, his label, and then his label got distribution from Warlock. All right, all right, all right.
All right.
This brain is working now. It's heating up. It's heating up. Well, I should say it's cooling down. It's cooling down from all this damn heat. But yeah, that was his name. He didn't really have the resources to push me the way that it should have been pushed. So it wasn't until actually when I got signed to Tommy Boy that people started to know who I was. So Wild Thing was more of an underground hit type of thing. And they were playing it on the radio. And like I said, he had no idea what he was doing. So if I had the right team behind me when I was with him, it probably would have done just as well as Tone Loc's Wild Thing.
Now, was that a response to Tone Loc's Wild Thing?
No, no, no. Actually, I think my song came out before Tone Loc's song came out. But because he had the right label behind him, his shit blew up. It's that, plus he was a guy. They didn't take female rappers as seriously back then.
Gotcha. The B side was totally awesome. Did that pick up any momentum during that time?
No, and if you bring that up, I'm gonna have to come and find you. So no. That was me having one of those funny moments in my life because I like to imitate people's voices. So that was me doing my Valley Girl thing. It's kind of like if you look at how Nicki Minaj will do other voices and other what's the word I'm looking for? Yeah, characters. And so that was my Valley Girl character, and I was like doing my totally awesome, my Valley Girl. Yeah.
Now, around this time when that album 12-inch came out, were you getting a bidding war around that time at all?
Not that I recall. No, not that I recall. I
Or
think it was just, as far as I can remember, it was like Tommy Boy, and then I started rolling with Flavor Unit at that point, and I was with Shakim was managing me, Shakim Compare. So at that point, I felt like I finally had a team behind me.
right?
Yeah.
Were you able to do shows off of those songs earlier on? Because there's like maybe a 5-year gap between that single and getting with.
I did some, not a whole lot, but it was like small little nightclubs and stuff in New York. Nothing major.
Right.
But yeah, I did do some shows. I did go out a couple different states and do stuff. But yeah,
Any
nothing crazy.
any Latin Quarter stories?
Latin quarter. What you know about Latin quarters?
All about it.
Oh my gosh, I can't even. I couldn't even tell you. Wow. Yeah, just that used to be fun. That was fun. That's all I can tell you.
Gotcha.
Latin quarters was fun.
So, what point is Tommy Boy getting to the picture?
After Wild Thing came out, so I want to say maybe around 90, something like that, like 89, 90. Yeah. Because the song it was doing good, and then they just kept shopping it. So it was probably like 89 or something. I can't remember exactly when I signed to Tommy Boy. To be honest with you, like some of that stuff is a blur. I need to go dig it up because I call myself writing a book, so I should probably know these dates.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what was that deal initially for? Singles, maybe
For Tommy Boy,
yeah.
it was an album deal, and I did an album. I did a full album with Tommy Boy, but it didn't ever drop. Tommy Boy kept pushing it back and pushing it back. And part of the reason is they saw how the industry was turning to the point where it was like if you were a little bit more pop, then the songs would get in radio. They were worried about airplay. And that was the problem. I wasn't radio enough.
Right. What was the reaction like, or do you remember for Ready or Not?
Ready or Not, I had to clean it up. I had to clean it up because, I had to do a radio version. It was like every song I did, I had to go back in the studio and do a fucking radio version of it. I don't even know if they do that anymore. Like, I think they just either bleep it out or something. But yeah, it was like almost every song on my album, I had to go back in and do a clean radio edit, which I always hated because it was like, that's not how I wrote it. But I gotta find a word that makes sense. That it was whatever.
Right. You included Wild Thing on this one. You had to re-record that as well.
Wild Thing.
Yeah.
I didn't re-record. I don't recall re-recording Wild Thing. No. Tommy Boy re-released Wild Thing last year for hip hop's 50th anniversary, but I don't think Wild Thing was on my album.
Okay.
It wasn't on my album.
Wide Open, produced by D Nice. Can you talk a little bit about your relationship with D Nice?
We used to be close, believe it or not, D Nice and I. When I had, I lived in New York for a while and I got married and moved to Maryland to raise my kids. And Derek used to drive down to Maryland to come to our house and, hang out. So we had a really good relationship, but then Derek became Derek. And, I lost touch with a lot of people in the industry. I stepped back and decided to take that time to raise my family. I didn't feel like I was getting the reception from the industry that I felt like I deserved. So rather than give the industry that much control over me and my life, I stepped back. So without Instagram and Facebook and all of that stuff, you just really lose touch. You lose touch with people. If you didn't have their phone number or if their phone number changed, you just lost touch with people. Nowadays we have YouTube and X and Instagram, Facebook, all these different ways to get in touch with somebody. And then when you lost touch with someone, it was just like you lost touch with them. A lot of people have emails that even correlate with their name. So a lot of times you can Google search them. But yeah, so I lost touch with him. And then once he blew up, I tried actually before he even blew up and got known for, his the DJ thing during the Panty Dammy, I'd never even watched any of those, but I'm just saying, like, before all of that, and even before that, he was doing photography. I don't know if you know about his photography. So I am a photographer as well. But at the time when I was starting out, I thought I could reach out to Derek to ask for pointers and get some, just some professional advice. And he never got back to me. And that was on Instagram. So once he didn't get back to me, like, I'd be hard pressed to chase somebody down. So it was just like, okay, that's what we're doing. So I've never reached out to him anymore after that. But yeah, it kind of sucks because we used to be really close.
Gotcha. How did you initially get down with the Flavor Unit around the same time as the Tommy Boy deal?
Let's see. La was signed to Tommy Boy. I was signed to Tommy Boy. Apache. I'm trying to remember exactly. I want to say it was me and La being signed to Tommy Boy, and then she started Flavor Unit with Shakim, Naughty was at Tommy Boy. So it was like a lot of us just kind of, migrated over that way.
Gotcha.
Hmm.
You appeared on that Roll with the Flavor compilation. Can you remember anything about that recording session in that time frame?
No. I don't even remember that. No. Uh-uh.
What was the plan with the Flavor Unit? Were you supposed to come out with the album with them as well, or was that just kind of a you
I
know?
was signed to Flavor Unit Management, not Flavor Unit Records. So it was they were managing me, and Flavor Unit had a lot of different things. Flavor Unit Entertainment, and so there was a lot of things going on. But it was supposed to be the album coming out, and it, like I said, it just kept getting pushed back. Mainly, I think because I didn't have enough tracks that were radio